always a pleasure speaking with you. As we speak, it's raining out there. We're talking still midsummer. Things seem to be opening up in Toronto. How are you holding up now that you see these changes going on with Toronto, the rest of Canada? I think I was hearing somewhere in Alberta where literally they're not going to have any masks or anything going on over there. How do you feel about these changes, man? Because even though they said they're not going to be wearing masks, they also said that the pandemic is still rising for the folks who haven't got shots
Yeah.
yet. What do you think about all that, man?
Yeah, it's so confusing, man. I just had a conversation with my girl last night because I got invited to like an event for
Hmm.
an event, a real event that's actually happening that people, and and I got this invitation and I'm like, do I go? Do I not go? Is it outdoors? Is it indoors? I don't know. I'm double vaxxed, so I feel safe, but at the same time, I know I can still contract it and give it to other people. But those other people are double vaxxed. So should I be worried about? And it's just this constant thing in your mind. So I don't even know. I'm really kind of on the fence right now, and it's more for the safety of like my folks, right?
Yes.
It's more for the safety of them because while they are double vaxxed, um, they're still in a compromised position because of their age, and so it's really more for that. I'm not so much concerned about catching it per se, and even if I do, I feel like at this point it'll be like really mild.
Because you
um
have to double vax.
because I'm double vaxxed,
Right.
so I'm not worried about that. But even my parents who are double vaxxed, it could create a problem for them, and so yeah, I'm kind of like on the fence. This thing is not going anywhere, and I
No.
think a lot of people, some people get it, and a lot of people don't because the government's messaging, right? It's not going anywhere. It is gonna be like the flu. So even if you see cases rising, it's not a cause for alarm unless people are being hospitalized with it. Unless those hospitalization numbers are going crazy, that's the only time that we need to like really start being concerned again about it. Or if vaccinated people, double vaccinated people start heading into the hospital, then we've got a problem.
Yeah, because it's funny, and as we're in this conversation, I had heard actually as we speak today that on the news that they were saying that if you get a third shot from Pfizer, that it's supposed to help with that new variant that's been going on, the one that devastated India, and
Yeah.
that is in Canada. So now they're talking about getting the third shot. And also, I was listening to Steve Harvey, his morning show. I enjoy listening to that, and he was talking about how when he was talking about people should get in the shots, people were telling him don't get the shot, don't tell people about getting the shot, what's in it, whatever. And he now has friends who are in the hospital who never got the shot, who caught it, and he said, all of them are saying, I wish I got the shot. So, it's so much information and you're trying to figure out what's right for you, whatever. But when it comes for not just health, but for business, because the business we're in, it is tough because we're waiting for you to tour. We're waiting for you,
Absolutely.
hopefully going back to Casa Loma.
Yep.
So many things. So what's the process right now for you with that?
I've literally done two shows. I did a drive-in show last week, which was great. Everyone was supposed to be in their cars, but everyone just ended up getting out of their cars. At this point,
That's your fault, man. I'm blaming you because you're so damn good.
at this last summer, I did drive-in concerts, and everybody was in their cars. Like everyone stayed in their cars. This time around, people were all out of their cars. They were up at the front of the stage. It was a great time. And then I just did another gig for a private gig for a corporation, and that was good. But it was a virtual event,
Hmm.
so you know what I mean. Like we set up in the spot, and they filmed us for like 160 of their people, whether it was media and this and that. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to the point where we can just all get back to just performing live, and the restrictions allow for that. Like
Yeah.
they're having people at Rogers Center. They're having people, watch the FC. So it's allowed. I don't know what the process is going to be for us in terms of like Casa Loma. Like there's still an opportunity for Casa Loma to happen. There still is, and there's still talks going on. So everyone just keep your fingers crossed because even if it's 4 weeks, of Soul in the City, I think that would be phenomenal.
I think so too.
You know what I mean? So and the Castle Garden has the capacity to do that. And so yeah, so we're working on that. There's some other stuff that's happened in the works as well, some possible touring of a particular show. So yeah, I mean it's in the works, but I don't know, man. I don't know. And a lot of people are booking into like next year at this point. Like they're just planning their tours for 2022, right? And there's a lot of Christmas stuff that's happening.
There's gonna be a ton of Christmas stuff, but you see, this is where, and not to flip the switch, but this is where the worry is, because if people aren't doing what they need to do now,
I know,
even though they don't want to say the words, we could end up in a fourth wave, and that always happens in November, December. So we got to get things right so we can get the good momentum going for the future.
and I feel like we're in the right direction. Like I think we've got like basically just over 50% of the population like double vaxxed at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, Rudy, I mean, when you really think about it, how many people have already had it that didn't even know that they've got it? Like honestly, if we were to give everybody in Canada an antibody test, I'm pretty sure that it would be a very, very high number of people that came in contact or that have got it. Like honestly. And so,
I agree.
and so, you know, now that we've got, you know, over 50% vax, by the time November hopefully rolls around, maybe that's up to 60, maybe 70, hopefully double vax. You know, the people that haven't had it, there's going to be a portion of them that have already gotten it, to be honest with you. And, you know, the rest, if they end up in hospital, hopefully that number is small enough that it doesn't create the strain and the stress on the healthcare system, so that we're not in this fourth wave or whatever wave that we're talking about, right? Like that's, like I said, that's the biggest thing. They need to stop counting the numbers of all, you know, of how many people got it, because it's not going away. It is not going away. It is going to be like the flu. But if people aren't dying from it, and people aren't in the hospitals overwhelming the system from it, let it go. Like we gotta live. That's true. Just the way I feel. That's the way I feel.
Absolutely true. You know, but in the meantime, as we're all still trying to figure this stuff out, you and I have had a couple of conversations because you have done something good for us to keep us in the right direction, releasing new music. But for us older folks, you're releasing new music with old school vibes. You got another single out, man. What's the new single and what's it about?
It's called Weekend Lover, and it is something that should be on every single summer playlist. Like honestly, it's got that bop to it. We filmed a roller skating video to it at Scooter's Roller Palace in Mississauga, my old stomping ground. It's just a feel good tune, and it's about, you know, it's about checking out a honey and maybe hooking up with her, and you think it's just going to be fun, but all of a sudden Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, oh, do I like this person now? Is this someone that I actually need to start dating? Like, or is this just going to be, and it's about that. And you know, I get these questions like, where did the inspiration come from? That it came from real life, man. Like back in the day when I was with my boys in Essence, how many clubs we went out to, and you know, we did what boy bands do. We had fun and whatnot, but there were times when, yeah, you got into those situations where it turned into something more. It did, and it can be confusing, but that's the cool thing about like love and relationships, and that's why I like writing about it so much. So,
how was your roller skating? Did you roller skate?
I did roller skate. I wasn't. Listen, I've never been crazy legs. I've never been that kind of guy. I can stay on my feet, but I didn't fall once. Did not fall once. And I was skating and singing at the same time for the camera.
Wow.
And the director is unbelievable. Brian Gregory is a master, young guy who just gets it, man. I'm telling you. I mean, this guy was on one of these little roller things. I don't even know what it's called, but basically it's got two wheels. He puts his feet on it and he has his camera and it's rolling forward and side to side and he's filming everything. And I'm just like, yo, that's crazy. Anyways, it's going to be a really, really great video. I can't wait for y'all to see it.
So here's the thing that I want you to help teach the young cats of today, because when back then, 80s, 90s, 70s, 60s, whatever,
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, whatever, did not exist. Social media did not exist.
Yep.
Cell phones were still, in the learning process. I still remember the first cell phone I saw, which was a suitcase, okay,
Absolutely.
with the phone. And only certain people could have that. So
Yep.
we had to have a skill in speaking with the opposite sex. We didn't put up some kind of picture of ourselves who we could be anything that we wanted to
Yeah.
attract somebody. So can you give a little bit of the lessons, which I have tried to do? Give a little bit of lessons to the young cats of today on how you spoke with a woman back in the day, whether it was successful or it wasn't successful.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Funny enough, listen, I've always been the shy guy. Even back in the day with Innocence, I was still the shy guy. And I really didn't approach women per se. I waited for them to show some interest in me, and then maybe I would approach. Or a lot of them, some of them were just aggressive and were just like, "Hey," which is something. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, but it's just a different culture and it's a different time, and the what's the word that I'm looking for? The way that the younger generation, the younger males view women these days is different than we did back in our day. There was just
True.
I mean, there were some guys that were still disrespectful. There's always going to be those,
Yeah.
but there was a more respectful way of like approaching and talking and just doing that. And nowadays, it just seems more like everyone's a bitch or this and that, and it's this whole concept, and I don't understand it.
And don't even get me started with the dick pictures being sent like that. I do not understand at all.
Well, listen, I don't get any of that stuff, but I'll be teaching my daughter to stay away from that junk.
Oh,
Let's just say that.
it's funny because when I think about it now, it was so much fun and learning experiences. But I think what the difference is because, and I think this is really important. I mean, sure, I had a brother, and I had older brother who taught me things, and I would watch and everything from my older male generation from growing up. But most of the stuff that we got was from the music that somebody like yourself performed. So if we didn't know how to speak to somebody, if you were the artist back in the day, I would have listened to your songs to figure out what to say to a woman and then almost repeat those lyrics.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
don't have enough of that today, which is why I think it's so important for the music that you have comes out these days so these guys can understand that kind of passion.
You know what? I got the best message from someone. I sent them a private link to the album, and they listened to it, and she said, I don't hear lyrics like this anymore. She's like, you made me feel beautiful. You made me feel like you know how to speak to a woman. And I was just like, man, okay, then I've done what it is that I'm supposed to do, because that's what I want. Like I wanted to create songs that meant something, that had emotion, and weren't just about like let's hook up and done, and like it's just
Yeah.
not for me, and I don't want to look down on anybody else or this generation or anything else. Like I don't even want to go there. But for me, lyrics mean something, and there's a reason why those songs, whether they're written by Babyface and L.A. Reid, and like there's a reason why people still play those tunes, man, and still enjoy those tunes 20-30 years later. There's a reason why My Girl is still playing and the younger generation still enjoys it. Like there's
Yeah.
a reason for that. It's put together in it's crafted, man. It's thought about. It takes years to put together that kind of stuff. And right now we're in this microwave generation where music is just being made literally overnight. And like sometimes there are no lyrics, like mumble rap. Like
Don't even get me started with that.
let's just leave that alone.
We'll leave that alone. And all I will say is I'm going to throw out two names that just popped in my head: Marvin Gaye and Teddy Pendergrass. Listen to some of that, and you'll understand what we're talking about.
Yes.
But you mentioned about album. What's going on with that now?
The album is coming out late fall, so well, probably around my birthday. To be honest with you,
Oh, great.
October 22nd. My birthday is the 23rd.
Congrats.
And yeah, like I'm really looking forward to letting people hear this entire body of work. I feel very, very proud of it. I got a chance to actually perform these songs the last two gigs, and the response has been unbelievable. And so, you know, for the longest time, as you know, Rudy, because you've come to Casa Loma many, many times, you know, I do a lot of covers. And even though I change them up, there's still cover songs, there's still somebody else's tunes, you know, and every once in a while I throw in a couple of my originals, whatever. But I really feel adamant at this point that I need to like put out my music first, like really, really, really push it. And this album is the one to do it. It really is. It has, I'm home with this record. I am truly, truly home, and I'm so excited about sharing it. And I don't know how to put it out, to be honest with you. Like, I don't have a record label. I'm independent. You know, I've got PR working for me and whatnot, and their Strut is absolutely great. But you know, today I put up a post on my Instagram, and I was like, listen, I literally don't know how to release music anymore. Do I give you a long lead time, like 2 weeks? Nobody has the attention span for that anymore.
No.
Do I just drop it on you like the day of? Well, if you're Beyonce, you can do that, and Kanye West, no problem. And so I was just like, I literally leading up to this, I just hadn't put out anything. And so like the day before, I was just like, hey, listen, I've got a track coming out tomorrow. That's it. You know, I hope you enjoy it. Done. And honestly, and I don't know if that will make a big difference in either direction, but there's just, at some point, you have to take the energy that you have and really place it in the right spot, because if you're busy for 2 weeks leading up to this entire thing, putting up posts and this and that, and then it doesn't even move the needle, like how inside it does stuff to you inside, man.
Truth.
Like, and there's only, you just have to be real with the energy that you have and be careful with it and protect it, because this whole social media game, chasing the numbers, and it will destroy you. It will really destroy you. And so I'm not trying to do that. I would just want to put out the music, and I'm hopeful that it will find the proper places if I just push it in the right spots. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong.
My fingers are crossed for you on all of that, because I know your music and I've heard your songs, and it's much deserved to be in a higher form. So crossing fingers on that. Before we go, because we were talking a lot about back in the day, and I've asked you this before, in essence, is there even any thought of some kind of special performance with all of you coming together again?
Man, I won't, I'll never say never,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't know. I think there would need to be some fences mended before that could happen, or a really big bag of money.
All right. Well, then I got my work cut out for me. Look, I'm going to let you go, my friend, because I know you got a family to take care of. Thank you so much, as always, for this interview. Thank you for the great music. Thank you for the advice for back in the day. I love that. And let's talk again. Hopefully, we'll be talking about, maybe a shorter version of Soul in the City at Casa Loma. If not, then hopefully we'll be talking about a release of a new album, and of course celebrating your birthday, my brother. Thank you so much for all of this.
Thank you as always, Rudy. I appreciate the support, man.